Welcome to North Korea, a country often portrayed as the land of endless military parades, food shortages, outdated technology, and a strange obsession with nuclear weapons. But hidden behind that image is something most of the world did not expect. Some of the most powerful and feared hackers on the planet's cyber warriors who not only infiltrate foreign systems, but have the capability to steal, disrupt, and potentially destroy data and infrastructure on a global scale. And the story of how a seemingly impoverished nation stuck in the 1960s could become a cyber superpower is far more complicated than it looks on the surface, because nothing in North Korea is ever quite what it seems. And understanding this requires a journey into ideology, class hierarchy, criminal history, and ruthless state planning. To begin, let's go back to March 2022, when millions of players of the once wildly popular blockchain-based game Axie Infinity noticed something was wrong, as features stopped working properly. And transactions failed, but what appeared at first to be just a technical glitch turned into one of the biggest digital robberies in history. The game, famous for allowing players to earn real money by raising and battling cute cartoon creatures called Axies, linked in-game assets directly to Ethereum, the second-largest cryptocurrency in the world, through a special exchange platform called the Ronin Network. But when Ronin developers investigated the disruption, they discovered that hackers had compromised the validators that kept the blockchain secure and drained over 600 million worth of cryptocurrency from unsuspecting users, converting it into Ethereum and vanishing without a trace. For months, investigators, developers, and cyber forensics experts pieced together what happened, and eventually they reached a shocking consensus. The culprits were not just random hackers, but operatives connected to North Korea. Yes, the same North Korea that struggles with electricity shortages, where many citizens still live without running water, and where the internet hardly exists, had managed to pull off the largest crypto heist ever recorded at the time. And this was not their first offense. Over the years, North Korea has built a notorious record of involvement in international crime, from arms trafficking and counterfeit goods to illegal drugs, human trafficking, and even counterfeiting U.S. $100 bills so perfectly that American intelligence agencies nicknamed them super dollars. During the 1980s and 1990s, the regime made fortunes with these schemes, but in the 2000s and 2010s, its criminal empire evolved into something much more sophisticated, shifting from physical contraband into the digital world, and cybercrime became the regime's new frontier. To understand why, you need to look at two key concepts deeply rooted in North Korean society. The first is Juche, the state ideology centered on self-reliance, the belief that true independence comes from producing everything domestically and avoiding dependence on foreign trade, a principle that in practice condemns the majority of citizens to extreme poverty, because a closed autarkic system cannot meet modern living standards, leading to shortages of food, electricity, and basic goods where radios play endless propaganda, and the internet exists only as a sealed national intranet. The second is Songbun, the semi-official caste system that divides citizens into classes. The hostile class seen as disloyal and condemned to poverty, the wavering class or middle tier struggling with harsh labor and surveillance, and the core class, trusted by the regime and given access to imported goods, modern technology, and privileges, such as computers running the state's own Red Star operating system, which mimics old versions of Windows and Mac, but strictly monitors users. Within this hierarchy, the elite enjoy luxury far beyond the average citizen, sometimes traveling abroad with false passports, purchasing high-end electronics, and living in ways unimaginable to most of the population. And it is from this trusted elite and their gifted children that the hacker force is born. The regime identifies talent early, much like how child prodigies are pushed into music, sports, or science. Children who show extraordinary skill in mathematics or logic are singled out, given rigorous training, strict discipline, and sometimes opportunities to study or compete abroad, with every success elevating their social standing. For math prodigies, there is a clear career path. Become a programmer, be sent overseas under false identities, and work in hidden hubs like so-called hacker hotels in China, where entire groups of North Koreans operated behind closed doors officially as guest workers, but in reality conducting cyber operations with unrestricted internet access. At first, these cyber operations were relatively unsophisticated, focusing on denial of service attacks against South Korean institutions in the 2000s, meant more to show power than to cause real damage. But by 2014, the world had to take them seriously when North Korea hacked Sony Pictures in retaliation for a satirical movie mocking its leader, stealing and leaking sensitive data in an attack that demonstrated not only technical skill, but also advanced social engineering. From there, the scope expanded. Espionage targeting defense contractors, research institutes, and even allies like Russia, as well as infiltration of government networks worldwide to gather political intelligence, all while steadily improving their ability to monetize these operations. By the late 2010s, with the rise of cryptocurrencies, North Korea found the perfect playground. Crypto promised anonymity, decentralized transfers, and limited oversight, exactly what a sanctioned state needed, and North Korea became a dominant player in crypto theft, with estimates that at certain times nearly half of all stolen crypto globally could be traced back to its hackers. The Lazarus Group, the most infamous among several state-sponsored units like Kimsuky, Andariel, and Blunaroff, carried out massive operations, from ransomware to bank thefts, but the Axie Infinity heist cemented their reputation. North Korea officially denies involvement, calling accusations propaganda by its enemies, but the forensic evidence is overwhelming. False identities used on platforms like LinkedIn and Upwork, elaborate laundering techniques through mixers and privacy coins like Monero and money trails leading to purchases that advanced missile programs. These operations are not only about money, but about survival, fueling the regime's military ambitions, and maintaining the privileges of the elite class, creating a vicious cycle where hackers support the system that created them. But how are they so good technically when the country itself is technologically backward? The answer lies in intense state investment in talent, relentless discipline, and the fact that many hackers operate abroad under fake identities, learning directly from global systems while funneling their earnings back home. The regime gives them surprising freedom compared to ordinary citizens because their work is too valuable, though failure or betrayal can mean execution or punishment of entire families, keeping loyalty enforced by fear. Even so, many of these hackers resemble the elite they help support, enjoying better food, better tech, and access to the outside world, yet knowing their fate is tied to the regime. Their methods rely not just on coding but also on human psychology, with phishing emails, fake websites, fraudulent job postings, and social engineering playing a major role, proving that their genius is as much about manipulating people as about breaking systems. They innovate constantly, staying ahead of investigators in areas like DeFi, NFTs, and crypto laundering, always experimenting with new tactics. For the world, the idea that North Korea, a nation of poverty and propaganda, could run one of the most sophisticated cyber armies is hard to accept, but that disbelief itself works in the regime's favor, making it seem harmless when in reality it poses a growing threat. By presenting itself as backward and irrelevant, North Korea masks the danger of its cyber capabilities, convincing outsiders to underestimate it. Yet every heist, every stolen dollar, every infiltration proves that behind the facade of isolation lies a state that has weaponized its most talented citizens, turning mathematical geniuses into digital soldiers. This paradox, an impoverished country leading one of the world's most advanced cybercrime operations, makes the story almost unbelievable. But it is real, and it reshapes how we must think about power in the digital age. The North Korean hacker army is not just a curiosity, It is a global threat, a hidden empire that sustains a regime by exploiting the vulnerabilities of an interconnected world, and the question is not whether they will strike again, but when and how much damage they will cause.